The Man in the Fog, The Woman in Black, and The Stranger in the Night. Please subscribe this channel. 1. The Man in the Fog. Sarah's Story, India. Hi, my name is Sarah. I'm from India, and what I'm about to tell you happened about 2 years ago when I was 16. Our neighborhood is small, just 10 two-story houses lined up in a quiet row. My parents and I sleep on the first floor and my 2 brothers on the second. It was a chilly winter morning like any other. I could hear my mom and my older brother, Allie, chatting loudly in the other room while I brushed my teeth. Then Allie called out to me jokingly, "Hey, want to see a ghost?" I laughed, thinking he was messing with me. But when he motioned for me to follow him to my parents' room, I did. He pointed toward the window. And there, in the middle of the road, stood a man. He was wrapped in a long, off-white shawl that covered him from head to knee. The fog was thick, turning everything ghostly. He was facing the bushes on the opposite side, a patch of dense trees that looked like a small forest. We watched him for 10 minutes. He didn't move, didn't shift, didn't even seem to breathe, just stared at the trees. My mom grew uneasy. I tried to reason that maybe he was waiting for someone. Still, there was something wrong about how still he was. Later, as my brother Assad drove me to college on his scooter, I looked back and saw him still standing there. We passed close enough for me to see his eyes beneath the shawl. And even though his mouth was hidden, I knew he was smiling. Not a normal smile. A stretched, wide grin that made my stomach twist. I couldn't shake the feeling all day. When I came home at 3 p.m., I saw him again. Same spot, same posture. He hadn't moved for 8 hours. That night, my dad came home and told my mom he'd approached the man. He asked what he was doing, but the man said nothing. Didn't blink. Didn't even turn his head. My dad told us to lock every door and window. We never usually did that, but I obeyed. Before bed, I peeked outside. He was still there. The next morning, he was gone. We never saw him again. No one in the neighborhood ever mentioned him. But sometimes I still wonder, what was he watching in those bushes? And why did it feel like he was smiling at me? The Woman in Black, the Coles Encounter. It was a normal, cool evening. My mom and I had gone to Kohl's to buy me new clothes. I'd outgrown most of my old ones. At first, everything felt perfectly ordinary. Bright lights, quiet music, the sound of hangers clinking. I got bored and told my mom I was going to look around on my own. She nodded, telling me to stay nearby. As I wandered through the aisles, I noticed a woman standing between 2 racks. She was dressed entirely in black. Long dress, long hair, and she was staring directly at me. Her eyes were wide, unnaturally wide, and dark eyeliner streaked down her pale cheeks as if she'd been crying. A chill crawled up my spine. I blinked and she was closer. Her lips curved into a wide, unnatural smile. My heart started pounding. I looked around frantically for my mom. But the store suddenly felt endless. Rows and rows of clothes. No familiar face in sight. When I looked back, the woman was gone. I exhaled shakily, but then felt a presence behind me. I turned. She was right there, smiling that same eerie smile. I froze. My voice caught in my throat. Then suddenly a hand grabbed my shoulder. I screamed and turned, only to see my mom. Relief flooded through me. She scolded me for running off, but I barely heard her. Then her tone changed. Her expression hardened. "Did you see a woman?" she asked quietly. "Long black hair? Wide eyes?" My blood ran cold. I nodded. My mom said nothing more. She paid quickly and we left. We never spoke about it again. But even now, I sometimes wake up in the middle of the night with the image of that woman's face burned in my mind. Those eyes that seemed too wide to be human. The Stranger in the Night, Zama's Story, South Africa. My name is Zama. I live in South Africa with my 9-year-old daughter, Coco. In August 2024, something happened that still makes me shiver when I think about it. It was 2:30 a.m. We were both asleep in our small 2-bedroom flat. I keep my tablet beside me at night, and that's what woke me up. I felt someone reaching for it. At first, I thought it was Coco. But then I saw the silhouette of a man leaning over me. I screamed and grabbed him instinctively. He froze for a moment, surprised, maybe not expecting me to fight. Then he tried to pull away, but I held on. We fell onto Coco's bed. She woke up crying, terrified. My only thought was, don't let him near her. I shoved him out of the bedroom and into the living room, throwing anything I could find, pots, pans, anything. He finally bolted for the door and disappeared into the night. Later, I discovered how he got in. Our bathroom window, the one I never locked because we live on the second floor, had been forced open. He must have climbed over the balcony rails and squeezed through the burglar bars. Before leaving, he'd quietly unlocked the front door so he could escape fast. None of my neighbors came to help, even though I screamed. They said later they'd heard something, but were too scared to check. We moved out soon after. I couldn't stay there anymore. A few days later, police said a gang had been targeting flats in the area. 2 days after my break-in, one of the thieves was found dead in the morning. I'll never know if it was the same man who came into our home. And honestly, I don't want to. 3 encounters, 3 continents. 1 man who never moved. 1 woman who smiled too wide. 1 stranger who crept in through the dark. Different places, different nights. But the same chilling truth. Horror doesn't always hide in the shadows. Sometimes it stands right outside your window and waits. Please subscribe and like this video.